Hi, welcome to Losing Weight with Elizabeth. Today we're talking about the 10 principal things for success. Now this is for in your whole life. But I looked at it and I thought to myself, this could be for weight loss. I mean, if we just look at this, and I think being successful in any way that you can, this works in anything. You want to stop smoking, you want to get a better job, if you can. You want to do this, you want to do that. These principles will help you one way or the other. So that's what we're going to do. But first, I'm going to start with the usual first start confession. On Monday of this week, there was a big report about what was that, lunch meat and beef and all that stuff being so terrible for you and causing all sorts of troubles. And I was like, oh wow, I never eat any of that stuff.
Nitrates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never eat lunch meat, and I seldom eat bacon, and a steak every 2 months. I just don't, right? Famous last words. It always works that way for me. When I was listening to the thing on the news, I was going, oh, good, I never do that. Anyway, so I went for an out for business at the Waterbury Chamber of Commerce and at this wonderful place, the Grand Oak Villa, and they had a antipasto bar, which if you're Italian, you will understand that these are things like gabagool and mortadella and bruschetta and what are the other ones, all those Italian meats, and they're not processed. I don't know what they are, but they have nitrates, I guess.
They're fraught with them.
And, cheese, which of course they told us last week is addictive for real, like it has an addictive thing in it. Look, everybody's shaking their head. Mm-hmm. And then, breads, different types of breads. And I really ate like it was my last meal. I cannot understand. I think I'm going to say something like, I'm not going to ever lose 10 pounds. And then perhaps, in my own hypocrisy, I'll lose 10 pounds. So let's see if we can't find some success with me. And one of the things also that happened this week that's really a positive thing, my wonderful teacher group that I have has decided that they are starting over. They've been floundering a little bit, and we went back to last year at this time and where they were. And that was when they were first beginning. And you know how that is when you first begin. You're all gung-ho. All of a sudden you're cooking, planning, preparing, writing everything down. You're doing everything perfect. Never a good idea to do everything perfect. But they said, you know what? We need to start fresh. And I thought, you know what? I need to start fresh. It's been 11 years. Mm-hmm. You fall off the wagon. I don't remember the last time I ate an out for business. I don't usually even eat there. And I just ate and drank and, like it was like I had not a weight problem in the world or anything else. I have to pull my chair up a little bit further. So let's start with these little ideas. You are the only person responsible for your success.
That's true.
Who's putting that food in your mouth?
I am.
You are.
I am. Oh my goodness. Good grief. I know. And then, it's when you just decide, like those teachers decided that they were just going to start fresh. Mm-hmm. So every day is a brand new day to start fresh and, make good decisions. Mm-hmm. And you're in control. There's only one way you're not in control. If you have health issues, I am never going to say to you, oh, you should be happy, or you should be, how you see all the time on Facebook or something, start the day with a smile on your face. Some people cannot do that. Mm-hmm. If you're healthy, most important part, if you're healthy, then then every day is an opportunity to be successful. Every day. So this is the beginning of it. You are the person responsible for your successful weight loss and healthy lifestyle choices. Now, if you choose to eat unhealthy, then you have to, expect whatever happens on the scale. If you choose to overeat, you have to just live with it and then move on the next day, or move on as fast as you can. If you had a bad lunch or an unhealthy lunch, let's say, and way too many calories, try to just have, a nice bowl of oatmeal for dinner. I will do that sometimes if I've had a good lunch. So, all right, so that's one thing. You don't have to reinvent how to eat. It's like reinventing the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, what is the basic of losing weight? Calories in, calories out.
That's true.
No, there's nothing new. If there's these 21-day things, these healthy, the FDA is starting to crack down on some of these pills and stuff. You don't know what's in them. They haven't even been checked. No one's checking things. So, even the shakes, if you can't read what's in them, I'm not sure I would drink them.
Right.
I don't think I would. I think I might make my own. With just almond milk and bananas and other fruit and spinach. This is the best that we can come up with. But, they say, oh, no, this has lots of protein. Well, spinach is 49% protein. So that's plenty of protein. If you put, you could put a big handful in, and you put pineapple in with that, with those smoothies, you will be so surprised at how sweetened it gets sweet from the pineapple.
Same with bananas.
Yeah, but the pineapple, like if you had peaches, say, and they weren't quite ripe, and you threw a couple of, like half a cup of canned pineapple with, in their own juice, not the sugar with the with the syrup. I'm not talking about that. And you put that in, I can't even tell you how much sweeter it is. It was a surprise. And you can't taste the spinach or kale or arugula or whatever green that you can't taste it. And blueberries is another really good one. And you know why? Besides that it's really good for you. It's got tons of vitamins and everything in it. It changes the color to blueberry.
Right.
So all of a sudden that green is kind of washed out.
Right.
Because who wants to drink the green drink?
Yeah, I remember.
I like the purple
Remember that
one.
drink?
Yeah.
That time?
Yeah, now my brother brought in a food processor or a juicer, right? And he put the carrots in, and I don't know what, it was just and he put in one apple, I think, but it was all vegetables and one apple. You weren't there for that, right? Anyway, and we were, trying to be very thoughtful to him because, he's a really good guy, and he was trying to make us this beautiful drink. But honestly, it tasted like did it taste like grass?
It wasn't very good.
It wasn't. We were all going like, we were taking like a little sip like this, going, "Oh yeah, buddy, really, very tasty." It was awful.
Kind of like Lucy with the Vitamin or whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to fool around with us even then. But I'll bet you anything that whatever it was that was on the market then was probably a lot healthier than what's on the market now.
Yeah.
Because now they're starting to cut down on the amount of stuff that you can sell in some of these health food stores, and some, health food stores don't want to sell bad stuff.
Right.
I'm certain they don't. They have plenty of good stuff they can sell. So if something, can cause you to be sick, which it can, you should really be thinking about that. So let's not reinvent the wheel. You know that if you eat more greens and more fruit and less meat and less bad carbs, being like white bread and white pasta, you're going to lose weight. If you don't, this isn't a big surprise to anyone. Nobody ever said to me in all the years I've been doing this, "Now, how do you lose weight?" No, they never did say that. Okay, there is no progress without action. You actually have to have the stuff in your house. You know, if you don't buy it, you can't eat it. And that works two ways. One, if you don't buy it, you don't eat it, you can't eat it, means Oreos.
Oh, God.
I know.
My least favorite cookie.
I know. Well, they're not the cookie of your youth anyway. But you know, if you don't buy it, but you know, like we've talked about many times,
Right.
grandmas say, oh, I got to have it for the kids. No, you don't. Your kids will be really, really happy with cut up fruit. They really will be. You just don't know it because you're so used to wanting to, you know, give them everything.
Right.
And I understand that, but I mean, be the healthy grandma or the healthy mother. With one mother I have who's lost 27 pounds, God bless her, she's done such a good job. She changed all of her kids' habits of eating. It took her a year, but now they are all on board with eating healthy.
That's good.
I know, right? They were going to McDonald's, you know, like all moms, she's driving her kids from like 3 o'clock till 7. Can't you just pick one thing? Does it have to be baseball, dance, basketball? You know what I mean? What else is there? Gym? You know, there's just so many after-school activities. Wouldn't one be enough? Especially when the kids have like 3 hours of homework. It's appears.
Right.
Isn't that the truth? I know
Yeah.
you guys have, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when they have all this homework and then you're running around ragged, when do you have time to cook a good meal? So I think we should start thinking about our actions. You know, we set the example. And so if you buy good food, you'll eat good food. And I'm telling you now, one of the girls said that now that she's eating like this, she's starting to find that those foods actually taste better. You know, roasted asparagus. I mean, really, salmon. My friend last night made, hi, Roberta, I'll see you when we see this together next week. She made the most delicious dinner right out of a 5-star restaurant. It was salmon with all these wonderful spices in it, just out of this world. Sweet potato, fresh string beans. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And then a most delicious soup with real tomatoes from the farm, still had that, and a little vegetable broth with mushrooms and basil. Oh, delicious meal. I have to give, thank you. Because after Monday night, I really needed a healthy meal. Okay, persistence always wins. Listen, it took me 3 years to lose 93 pounds. That is, you have to be, not that I was pleasant. Let's not put the P's together, pleasant and persistent. I was truly, truly not pleasant. I mean, when I got to the 60-pound mark, I was pretty elated and I was getting more pleasant. But when it took me 10 weeks to lose the last pound,
Oh.
10 weeks, not pleasant. No. But I think there's reasons why that happens. I mean, I could have been on a plateau, but the other thing is, I really thought I was thin enough. So why did I have to lose 1 more pound? But that was the rule, and you know, was trying to follow the rules as the good girl that I am. But persistence, think about this. You know that little weed in the driveway? The one that comes up through the asphalt, right?
Yeah.
How does it do that? What's the word?
Persistence.
That's exactly right. So when you see that, I'm always like, how did they? I can't get a plant to, you know, grow when I'm taking care of it, let alone one coming through asphalt. So, but if you are persistent, no matter what, eventually you're going to see success. As slow as it may be, because it was very slow for me, but I was very persistent. Focus is everything. Multitasking reduces your efforts. You can't be all things,
It's so true.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. And
Where do you think when is eating is one of the things I find people are multitasking. Remember that lady who she would sit down, have a bite of food, then she would get up and go empty the dishwasher.
And do her laundry. I remember. I was
Yeah,
here when she was
yeah.
here.
I was like going, oh my God, you're getting up to go do your dishwasher and then you're sitting back down, and then she would put a load of laundry and then she'd sit back down. By the time she got done, her dinner was cold.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh, and
Her
the
meal
worst
get
part
cold.
is she probably had no clue that she'd even eaten.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you want to have accomplish all those things, in 15 minutes you can accomplish emptying the dishwasher, getting a load in the washer. You can accomplish quite a few things in 15 minutes. But eating your dinner should not be part of that multitasking thing. You should be concentrating on the dinner because let's face it, we wouldn't be in this situation if we didn't love food.
That's for sure.
Right? And we love food. So why wouldn't we concentrate on the beautiful meal we just made? Last night it took Roberta and I would say 45 minutes to an hour to eat that dinner. Slow, steady, enjoying every
Nice.
moment. Sat back, had a little wine, of course, had a little wine. And then, can't even believe this. And it was just so lovely just to enjoy a slow meal and not be rushed.
Nice.
Failure is necessary. If you aren't failing at it, you're not trying. I mean, I know that sounds sort of weird, but you actually have to fail just a little bit so you learn, okay, you can't do that. Right?
Right.
I can't have an ice cream cake, a whole one. Or just, I can have some, just a little bit, but I can't eat a lot of it. Because you know what happens when you have a lot of sugar? What do you think happens?
Get tired.
Yes, you get very tired. First you get the big high, then you get very tired.
yeah.
Then you crash.
Then you crash. But the other thing that happens, and this is really difficult, is that the sugar gets in your system. And when the sugar gets in your system, you can't stop. Yeah, that's part of the problem.
So it's like the addictiveness.
It's addictive. So that makes all the difference in the world to me. And so failure is a little necessary. If I lost 90 pounds 2 other times, and plus the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. I knew that I did not need to reinvent the wheel to lose weight. I did know that. And so that probably helped me, that all the failures in the past probably helped me, because it's been 11 years since I lost that weight. Positivity fuels productivity. Hard word for me to say. But it's positive energy. Mm-hmm. I never saw anyone walk out of the gym sad. Did you ever see anyone walk out of the gym sad?
No.
No one ever does, Carol. They walk out of the gym like, yay! It's the exact opposite of how you walk out of the casino.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
You walk into this casino like this, yay! You walk out like that. Walk into the gym like, oh.
Yeah.
Come out all so happy. I always notice when I'm coming in, people that are coming out of the gym, they have a little, what do you call
Lilt in their step.
Yeah, a little lilt in their step, big smiles on their face. I don't care what the weather's like. Happy as little larks. And if it's cold and they're coming out of the gym, that is so refreshing, even if it's cold. So, so being productive, by working out a little bit. You don't have to work out a lot. People say, I don't have time. Really, honestly, you need to make time for yourself.
That's right.
That is an absolute fact. And every single person that has made time for themselves to work out, every single one of them has been really happy that they did. No one ever regrets exercising. No one ever regrets it. Oh, I'm so sorry I exercised today. Said no one ever.
No.
Okay. You must believe you can. Well, I don't know. Remember, this is a list for success of all things. But you must believe that you can do it. I don't know that I ever believed it. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. So I'm thinking stubborn was probably my greatest asset right there, or persistence.
Didn't you picture yourself a little like in a real nice dress or
No,
no?
I never ever pictured myself anyway. I never, honestly, I never did. When I lost 60 pounds and I was down to 180, and I honestly thought I was so thin, and I went to Vermont with a friend, and we went over the border, and here's the bad part of the story. And we had wine and cheese because we went into the cheese place that's right over the border in Vermont. And we got all sorts of specialty cheeses, right? And we had wine and cheese, also nice. And I stood in front of the big Welcome to Vermont store in all pink from head to toe. Had a pink scarf, pink shirt, pink pants, 180 pounds, thin as a rail, am I thinking. And you know what? I feel that the confidence I felt at 180, if I wasn't looking for, and I was off all medication, I could have pretty much stopped right there and been satisfied with myself. But I knew I had to go a little bit further. But it was a good weight. And so that's probably why I hit a plateau, because I was feeling good about myself. And finally, I had to get rid of those pink pants. I loved those pink pants, too. And that pink shirt. I just got rid of that pink shirt because I just wore it to the gym or, whatever, because it was big, but it was perfect for that. But that day was a day that I'll never forget because of the confidence I felt. And that's sort of the thing that you have to think, is that you can do it, or that you have the confidence that you're going to make every effort. This is the thing that a lot of people say, well, I have to wait till I'm ready. No, you can't wait till you're ready. There's no way to do that, because you might not ever get ready. And then,
True.
Right? So why not just take the baby steps, like, using a journal a couple of times a week, drinking your water, trying to have a healthy breakfast, eating your protein, having more vegetables and fruit than you do meat and carbs. These are baby steps that you take. One little thing at a time can make all the difference in the world. Now, helping others is a big part of success. Now, I believe that that's really true, because I don't think I would have kept this weight off, had I not been helping others to lose weight. Right?
Yeah, because you don't think about yourself and you don't think about food for yourself. You're concentrating on the other person.
I'm concentrating on the other person, and that really is effective for me. But like when I share something on my Losing Weight with Elizabeth site on Facebook, when people share it to their site, who do they know that they inspired?
Right.
That's true.
I have women in Canada who every Sunday have a brunch, watch the show, because I post the show after it airs, watch the show, discuss the show, have dinner with wine, and toast me. Now, really,
That's
right?
nice.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
Isn't that a
nice.
really
Yeah.
nice
That's
little
nice.
picture? I don't even know those ladies, and yet they send me a letter. They say this. I'm so thrilled that they are having this success and doing well, and watch the show all the way in British Columbia.
Wow.
That's
I
great.
know. So
great.
you see, had I not started to help people do this, I would never have that feeling.
Right.
And it's the same thing when I'm telling you about your grandkids or your daughter or whatever. You set the example. You set the example. I'm losing weight because I want to be healthy. That's the example that you want to set. So which of these things, let's go through them just so you could stop me when you're ready, if you have one. well, we all know that you're the only one responsible for your success.
Right.
So, I'm putting it in my mouth or I'm drinking it. So it's whatever. And we all know that it's calories in, calories out. Although that was a little bit of a surprise. You didn't get that one at first when I first said it, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. So, but there's no progress without action. So let's think that one. Persistence always wins. Think of that little weed. That would be a really good thing to think about. Focus is everything. If you focus on stuff, it'll work for you. And I think by journaling, not just your food, but why you ate. Were you hungry? What was the mood? Because I realize I've learned a lot about myself, which stopped my binge eating. Now, I know I talked about binge eating a couple of weeks ago and that I was on a binge, but it's not a binge like where I just pulled my chair up to the refrigerator, which, believe me, people do. It was a binge of weeks of just eating kind of unhealthy. So one of these things we want to work on. What do you want? Anything particular anybody want to work on? I'm going to work on persistence. I just want to
Yeah,
be the
that's a
little
good
weed.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Don't you just want to be the little weed?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Or
All
the
right,
little
so-
engine that could.
Yeah, the little engine that could. All right, listen, have a happy week, a healthy week, and a happy week. And I'll see you next week. And thanks for watching. Bye. Yay.
Good
You know
job.
what? Success is a stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Right?
Yes, that's
right, yeah.
perfect.
That is really, a river cuts through rocks because it's